青い君のスケルトンコスチュームの下無数のラビリンス絡まってるこれはなんだはみ出してるそれはなんだトラブってるわけは柔らかいこの物体モノクロームのポラロイドで映してくれそしてチェリービーンズのカラフルさで隠してくれ Oh baby baby 浮かぶ白いシャトル闇で溶ける華奢なカプセルゼロダウンパワーはゼロダウンだけど僕らは生きてゆける気になってることはなんだ二人つなぐアダプターだドッキングの時に暖かいあの物体メトロノームの正確さで愛してくれきっとサイボーグはアンドロイドとうまくやれる Oh baby baby モノクロームのカラフルさを教えてくれそしてジェリービーンズの柔らかさで愛してくれ Oh baby baby
Check, check, check. Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up? Yes. Okay, here we are. Here we are. Nice to see you all. I am Mike Flex here at 7 Studios. I just had to put my sweet little baby to bed and do a quick little share of the stream to some peeps. Real quick. Share on your Facebook. Just one more. Yeah, why not? All right. Sweet. All right, let's get in it. So you can see that I've got something open right here, which is a patch that I just noodled around with. Maybe your eyes have been following the stuff around here to try and make sense of it, but I figure I'll walk you through step by step. So VCV Rack is free. Can I get a browser window up in this? Yes, I can. So let's go to the VCV Rack.com. Boom. So here we are, folks. This little baby is super sweet. So get yourself over to VCVRack.com and you can get it for Linux, Windows, or Mac, and you download the host, and as you can see here, you can actually load VST plugins into your rack, which means that you can use the CV in and out stuff to control VST, which is pretty crazy, right? The amount of like holy crap that happens when you're messing around with this thing, it's like endless. So download your build, and then what you got to do is you got to go to plugins, and this is a list of all of their different free and paid, let's get a new one, free and paid plugins, and as you can see, they are numerous and they keep adding them and adding them and adding them and adding them. These are all different developers, so huge thank you to every single one of you guys that does free ones, and you know, if I get really deep into this, I'll probably pick up a couple just to support the development sphere around it. So there's a ton of classic stuff. I may have to take a break at one point for my baby. No, sorry guys, my baby has been crying. So they all have manuals, and some of them need to be installed manually. If you don't see an installation button next to it, you're going to need to download the manual. But let's take a quick little break. Sorry guys. Okay, we're back. Okay, we're back. Okay, we're back. Thanks for tuning in, guys. So we've got some heads here. Just quick recap, VCVRack.com. You just download the software, go into plugins here. You got to create an account, and when you open the program itself, it'll have you sign in, and you can update the plugins that you've already downloaded from here, from within the program. So enough of the nerdy shit, let's get into the program. Ba-boom-boom. So I'm just going to go File New right off the bat. Boop. So this is what you get when you File New this baby. You get a whole bunch of nothing. And you ask yourself, well, how do I get started? And as you can see, the interface is super, super minimal. So you've got the ability to new, open, save, save as, revert to the saved version, disconnect cables. That's pretty useful in the case that you have all types of shit going on and you can't figure out what's going on. You can turn up and down the opacity of the cables, how much they droop, and the zoom of the entire interface, which I believe is vector based, so you can zoom really far in and it won't lose, it won't get pixelated or anything. So manage plugins, yeah, when you click that, it'll open up a web browser with the plugin, so that's pretty sweet. If they're outdated, you'll see a little red dot here.
11:45 p.m.
11:45 p.m. says my robot. So you'll update the plugins here. If they're not already updated, it'll be a red dot. I'm obviously signed in, which you would log in and log out with that. So right off the bat, you right click in the main area, and these are all the ones I've got installed from the plugin page that you saw. And right off the bat, you need to get some basic stuff in here. Basically, there's no output, there's no input, there's no clock, there's no oscillators. You need to add every individual thing yourself. So the quickest thing to start with is audio. I just typing in the search bar here, and you can see that it gives me authors, tags, and modules. So the authors are people that are named whatever that is, that have made stuff, and sometimes they tag stuff as well. You can create your own tags. And in the modules here, I'm going to favorite that because I use it all the time. To start off, audio. So pretty basic, loads right in, drag it wherever you want. Oh, and by the way, the middle mouse button is a way to pan around the whole rack, and it just keeps going and going, however much you got to add. So the audio, you're going to have to configure specifically to be what you want. So I'm going to go to something that you guys can hear. I'm going to go to my speakers. There it is. And it's saying that it's got some latency of a full millisecond on it. I'm going to turn that down if I do this. Still a whole lot. Let's see if I can get it. ASIO. Yeah, I guess that's just how much that takes in general. So no worries. I'll do the shared. Boom. Okay, so this thing is now over here and doing its little thingy. I gotta pause this. There we go. So now that we have the output configured, you might as well have something to create sound. So let's do OSC to get an oscillator. And you can see that by clicking the tag, I now have all the different oscillators. See all the names of the modules on the right alphabetically. And I just kind of look at the names and I find stuff that stands out to me. So chip waves, I don't know what that is, but let's take it right off the bat. Boom. It's got a triangle wave out, a pulse wave out. Oh, another thing that you're going to need is a mixer. So again, I'm just right clicking in the center and typing mixer. Let's check out mixers. There's a quad VCA, 4-channel, 8-channel. Start with an 8-channel because why not? Super basic. Hey, look at that. We got a mixer. So let's keep it somewhere that makes sense. I try to organize myself, fairly well. I'll usually put the audio out all the way on the right and the mixer directly before it, and I'll come out of my mixer out into my inputs. Boop, boop. So LR out. Now they'll let you do multiples out of any one port as long as you drag like another one to it. So I don't need that now, but pretty cool. Sup Garrett, sup Curtis, thanks for tuning in, guys. So now that this is all in there, obviously we need to put some stuff in our inputs. So let's just do right click here again, OSC. Let's add an oscillator in there. Tiny sign is always sweet. Sending out. Okay, super loud, sorry guys. So also worth just pointing out right off the bat, this is like a noise making process. So I have the audio turned down a little bit. If it's too loud, please tell me. But the whole process of messing with your rack is you're making really, really crazy sounds often. you can make straight music out of it, and I'm going to do that in one of my first experiments that I show you guys, how to like set up your basic thing. But as you can see, we have a signal being sent out, which is, you can see right here by the little yellow light, it kind of shows how much of a signal is going out. And that'll pulse if there's a pulsation like saw wave, it'll pulse in time with the LFO. So if I just turn this up a little bit so we can hear it, you can just hear that we have a pure sine. It's literally a small, it's called tiny sine probably because it's so small. Physically, as in it takes up one tiny little rack space, but you know, that's a sub. So what I would probably want to do with that is sequence it, you know, to get kind of just like a pulsating bass line. But a sine is a great start, and there's also a couple basic, let's see, kick, drums, kick, boom, 𝕿𝖕𝖆𝖘. So I added in a kick, let's add in a snare, 𝕿𝖕𝖆 snare. So these are pretty sweet. I like this brand. You actually have to install these ones manually. You got to go to their website, you got to sign up, you got to download it, put it in the plugins folder in the documents, and gives you some quick 808, 909, CR78, bunch of Lindrum, ton of classic sounds, and so you can just get your classic stuff right out of this. Let's do some hats as well because we can't do without those. Close hat. Boom. So these are just super basic samples. They don't have an envelope on them or whatever, so that's fine. I just want to show you guys the sequencer real quick. Right click, seek. So we got a bunch of sequencers. So I'm looking for something that's fairly, I think 𝕿𝖕𝖆. I'm looking for something that's fairly simple because there's a lot of these and they all work differently. Every single one of these sequencers here, every single one of them has a completely different interface. Let's just load up another 16-step or whatever if they have one. Seek3x16. Right? So these literally, this one up top and this one down bottom, literally could not be more different. Some of them have really obvious panels, interfaces. Some of them have completely unlabeled, confusing ass interfaces that you have to read the manual to figure it out, or else you're just going to be playing around, plugging stuff in and out, which is its own fun, honestly. Sometimes it's really fun to just mess around and plug shit into shit all willy-nilly. You cannot break anything. I guarantee you won't break it. You might fuck with your computer, like lock up the cores if you're doing something really crazy or whatever, but I haven't even had that happen. So this top sequencer here, this is really interesting, and this is a great way to get us started again, kind of conceptually here. So this sequencer doesn't have a clock, and if you don't have a clock and you have a Eurorack in front of you, how do you get a clock? You need to buy a clock module. That clock is coming from something. In most cases, you're going to have its own. So, you know, some will have it built in, but let's just go to clock, right? So check it out right off the bat. BPM clock. This is the AS stuff is really great. This little AS brand are awesome. One other thing I want to point out is that if you right click on stuff, you can initialize, randomize. Randomize is really great because it'll literally move every slider all random, even on the mixer here. Check this out. Boop. Really weird. Initialize it though. We'll mute that first channel because I'm going to be plugging stuff in there. I don't want it to go too crazy. But so I put my clock on the upper left. It just makes sense to my brain to have my in all the way on the upper left and my out all the way on the upper right. You know, I'll move it around per project because sometimes it just visually feel like this is, if you're an OCD person, this program is amazing because you definitely want to, you know, you're like, oh, I could put all that stuff over here, and when you do it, all the chords come with it. So pretty sweet. And just to show you guys what this cable tension thing does, you can like make it so that it looks like they're drooping. Pretty sweet. It's kind of whatever, but you know, if you're a chord nerd, it's super fun. And you can change the opacity as well. Show you here the zooming function, which is pretty sweet. You can get right up in there, and you can zoom way out. for when you have tons of shit going on. And believe me, you can get a ton of shit going on. So this 16-step sequencer needs to get a clock. I'm going to take there's a bar output, a beat output, an 8th output, a 16th output. The run on off, there's an out, there's an external clock that can go into this clock, and you can reset your clock with that one as well. So sometimes I'll run something into this that resets the clock here and there. You set the BPM here, boop, 300, nice, 40, 30, nice. You can go pretty crazy there, huh? So I also wanted to point out, I got distracted, but if you right click on each of the different modules, sometimes they have extra stuff. So like check it out, gate mode, trigger, retrigger, continuous, just like Ableton stock devices, like you don't really know that there's this extra shit, and then you go and you click on it and you're like, wait, what are all of these extra bits that are hidden? So every module that you load up, you should right click on it and see if there's some hidden stuff to fuck around with, if you don't plan on reading all the documentation, which honestly, if you were to read all the documentation for every module that you use on this, you probably have a little more time than me. So let's go out of our BPM clock into our clock. So now that that is happening, you can see that I've got a fancy little sequence running here. So I'll use this sequence to trigger these babies. And because I can go multiple into multiple, I should be able to just keep dragging other sequence things into the trigger. So the first one is here, and we're not hearing anything, even though, oh, that's the trigger, duh. Out into the mixer in, and the trigger is coming from that. Feel good about it. So my sequencer is triggering that kick. Should be triggering that kick. It's not triggering that kick. Reset it every bar. So I'm just playing around now. Sequencer, I'm going to bring up another sequencer that might be make a little more sense right off the bat. 16-step, is that what I wanted? Oh, there we go. Yeah, I guess these are really, really, really similar. But why not keep it all pretty looking, right? So let's come out of my out into my clock. These are all triggering. Trigger that bitch. There we go. I don't know why the other one wasn't triggering naturally, but this one sure is. So let's keep going here. So I'm got a kick. There it is. So it hits, and if we like doing more than one, I have to make that happen, aren't I? So let's see. CV. Right click. So I don't really know how to make this happen. I'm just going to try it out. 1 to 8 splitter, and then a splitter, this 1 to 8 splitter CB. Okay, so if we go out, that's weird. Out of that, into that. Oh, I guess I need a merger. So I was going to split it. Let's see if we can merge. If any of you guys do CV stuff. Let's just actually get out of the me fiddling, and I'll show you some stuff that I've already done, and I'll walk you through it. So you get the concept now that you right click in the center, you add whatever the hell you want, you add whatever the hell you want, you can start mixing shit together, and in the case of the sine waves, we'll just go out of that into that and sweep that baby. So you can run stuff into itself like so, just for the fun of it. Let's mute this out. I'll also show you guys that getting audio out of the program is probably pretty important, right?
12
so
a.m.
I'll use a recorder here, and I'll right click, I'll type record. So there's a few. 2-channel master recorder did the job for me last time, I think. Yeah, it's weird looking, shitty little interface on it, but really all it's doing is saving to a wave. So you come out of your outputs into your ins, choose file, and then you hit start, and then it's asking me, like, you know, what do you want to save, where do you want to save it? Save it into my daily folder, why not? And worth showing here, if you right click, you could switch to 24-bit if that's what you're going for, but 16-bit off the bat. And now it's just recording literally whatever I do to a wave. And yeah, I could tweak it after the fact, and I'm not really getting anything that I couldn't get out of a stock Ableton with just that right there. So let's have some fun and see what we can add. Father and son patch sequencer. Like, some of this shit is so absurd. I'm just gonna add up like a ton of stuff just so you guys can see like how fucking insane this program is. That's not that great. Erratic instruments. MPE to CV. So yeah, you can really get some fun shit in here. It's got MIDI in and out. You can load this whole thing, I believe, as a VST in Ableton, and then you can also load VSTs into a rack in here and have it controlled in and out. So let's open up a couple of my experiments. Here's a real recent one. Whoa. Okay, cool. Sorry to wreck your ears there, guys. Make sure you're not too loud. So this is a fucking hilarious setup here. This is, take the rotating shit out of there. So this little baby, I found this earlier today. Whoa. I hate that knob. I don't know why. It's like for like art shit that they have that in there, but it works really nice as a scope, showing what signal is going into it. And if I really fucks with the signal here, let's fucks with the refresh rate too. There we go. Okay, so I'll turn it up so we can hear a little bit, but I'm not even going into a good mixer right now. Like, you know, I'm just using my 4-channel here. I'm sure you guys remember I'm able to record that, so you know, you can tweak the fuck around, get a ton of really crazy shit, sample out of it, just chop it up in Ableton or what have you. Let's open a few others. Open. Boop. I'll go back to last year when I first got this thing. Let's see. Missing a bunch of shit. That was this one open. So the original builds had different stuff, and I don't have all of it. So we'll see what we can get. There's the audio setup. Nice. So this kind of is working. Not annoying at all, right, guys? There, we got it. What's this one? I'm gonna do a freshie. Let's see. Yeah. Do I have a mixer on it? Oh, I've got a mixer already. Oh, yeah. What the fuck is going on with this one? I got quite a few that are... Nice. So that was a little madness. Just opening up these couple that I have in this folder real quick, and then I'm going to do some freshies and explain what I'm doing. Damn it, looks like I need to get the Lindenberg research one again because I'm missing a lot of stuff. Nothing going into the audio there, like, what the fuck, why would I save that? Oh, well, I don't think that this one was supposed to open like that. 5. Okay, this one didn't have any issues, so that's exciting. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, this one's got a little bit of fun going on. So I do have a merge. What the fuck? Why didn't that come up before? Right click, merge. That merge 2x5 is my homie. So you can see what I did here is I merged a bunch of nodes. And they're all being sent out to one input. Now, stuff like the perspex, I really wish I better understood what's going on this 16-channel Crystal Palace. It just looks so cool, I can't not add it. Let's see what we got here. Cool. So, I feel like we're pretty good here, so I'm just going to delete a ton of stuff. I'm just going to get rid of pretty much like anything that I don't like the jams of. Let's just restart fresh. Right click, disconnect cables. I'm going to disconnect all cables. Boop. Yeah, fam. Cool. So we're going to do the clock up at left. We're going to do the sequencer right next to it. We're going to come out. Yeah, I don't hate it. Boop, boop, boop. So first off, boom, go into the boom. Four. Now we're going to come bass, snare, hi-hat. Got a mix. Got an audio. So let's do this thing. This is a cool little momentary button feature. So let's come out of here, into here, into here, out of here, into here, in. I'm only getting one side. That's a little weird. Is it panned? Oh, it is panned. Initialize. There we go. Interesting. Yeah. Oh, so you can disable individual steps. Duh. So 4 on the floor. Duh. There's something about that bass drum. I'm getting a little click each time. That's better. Let's just go with that, huh? So there it is. So let's just go crazy and clear a patch and start over. No, I'll keep the basics. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save a template for myself that has all my babies. I don't give a shit about that. So I'm going to clock into a sequencer, mix into an audio. Boom, boom. So let's add a VCF. Do not fork oscillator, FM oscillator, sweet, bacon music, sample delay, quantize, scale arpeggiator, can't beat those. Into clock.
12:15 a.m.
So now let's add in a bunch of LFOs. LFO. Try LFO. Alright, so what I want to do here is add in a bunch of fucking LFOs. So we're going to go boom. Go boom. We're going to go bang. Bang. I'm gonna try another VC. Oh, let me know if y'all. Yes, it is. Definitely angry fucking cat. It's like it's a cat in heat. Good ear. That's what's so fun about exploring noises in this is like you come across shit that you're like, wait a minute. And when people like flip out about Tipper's sound design or like whatever, like designing sound and just like playing around with shit until cool shit happens, they're equally awesome. And I think that a lot of people that hold sound designers in high regard just don't know how much playing around and just like happy accidents have to do with it. It's not that you're like more skilled than other people, you're just good at picking the gold out of all the random shit. So that was a really weird little thing, and I liked it, but I'm gonna go with a different look. Trying to think of how I would do the sends on this. So everything's fully manual. I was raised on hardware, chords, everything just full manual. So it's not really that confusing for me to like kind of think my head around it. But what I think that I would do is reverb, add in something like a reverb, and I would probably send multiple of these things to the reverb and then add the reverb to its own send and do parallel, all like old school style. So in from that, and then probably be a good idea to have like an audio merger. I mean, just a mix is fine. There's so many. So out of that, positive and negative polarity, into that, out of that, into that. So 𝕿𝖎𝖕𝖘, I don't know what that's about. Let's see. min VCO. That's pretty sweet. So I like to feed other shit into itself sometimes. That's always fun too. I don't always know what I'm doing, but I definitely get some interesting shit out of it. Even in oh man, that just messed with my ears so bad. I just noticed my stream gave me an error. It said I'm streaming at too high of a resolution. It's pretty Dirty, dirty gypsy. Oh, this thing's crazy. This thing you can actually like type code into. You gotta look at the manual for this one. Pretty terrifying. So I'm just kind of tossing stuff to the edge here and just keep adding stuff. So I've got my reverb in at the end. I got a mixer going in there. I could do a mixer going into my mixer if I wanted. And all this stuff, you click on it once, Control D, you get a second one. Super fucking easy. Like, look at that shit. What the fuck, man? This program's amazing. If you guys have any questions, definitely let me know. Again, it's VCVrack.com, and create an account, sign in, get a bunch of plugins, update them if necessary. So I haven't really got that arpeggiator worked out, so maybe I can do something with that. Let's do a new one, arpeggiator. MIDI poly 16. Ooh, what the fuck is going on here, fams? Whoa. So you can use MIDI in, and then you can do all sorts of shit with it. Dang, that's great. Flora. Let's check it. I'll do an arpeggiator pattern. That's there. Still haven't figured this one out. Gate, arpeggiator. The arpeggiator has an out. Like, what kind of fucking out is it?
12:30 a.m.
ARP 700. Okay, okay. Set clock. Clock can come on that. Out of that. Really interesting. Trigger out. Trigger. Trigger could be the gate. That makes me sad. Why can't Well, I'm not smart enough for that one. I can't figure out these arpeggiators just yet. If you guys have any points, feel free. Arpeggiator deprecated. ARP. Carplus strong poly. Nice. I like it. So how can I trigger that smartly? Really don't know. Voltage addressable sequencer. Spectrum analyzer. That's pretty sweet too. Trade every week. Very nice, very nice. I love when it gets so angry it can't even put sound out anymore. Interesting. Check, check, check. Everything's still working on this end. Check, check. Yeah, so good. Let's open a few more that I've got. 18, let's go into 19. Start freshy fresh. Audio. Boop. Audio out. Clock. Boop. Boop. Let's see. Audio MIDI notes. Oh, I don't need notes. keyboard. That's kind of cool. What the heck? Electronic SFN machine. Boop, 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 boop. Now we'll come out of this into a mixer. Let's do quad VCA mixer. Nice. Boop. Gotcha. Out of this. Huh. Interesting. Does that. Time. Overload? Is it? Ooh. Skip. Some really seriously weird devices in here. An angry cat. Okay, so I didn't have a lot of luck finding my collection of files. Kind of annoying. So let's just make a beat. Let's just do a beat. Start off with a sequencer. SEQ. 16-step sequencer. Boop. Put that into mix. Boop. Yeah. So the voltage and the octave come from there. I wonder if I can do a trigger. Triggers. Boop, boop, boop. Huh. It's pretty interesting. Gotcha. So it just helps you be handy. Okay, so step sequencer doesn't seem to be very good for that. 𝕿𝖎𝖕𝖘 drums 8-channel mixing. Mix in left and right coming out of my drum machine. Now let's have some drums. 𝕿𝖎𝖕. Okay, this drum kit shit is sweet. Bass drum 9. No, not that one. Fuck you. 𝕿𝖎𝖕. Yeah, I need like a... Not that thing. I need a kick generator. That's what I'm going for, not just a sample. 𝕿𝖎𝖕. Let's do kick. Now. Drum sampler. Kick. 𝕿𝖎𝖕. There we freaking go, man. Jeez. I should be able to get a couple in here. Weird. Okay. All gates coming out of that. Going into in. So it's going every. Let's just do 4-step.
(12:45 a.m.)
Alright, we got a dubstep tempo, basic little beat. Add a little right? Isn't that what we want? There's a little wubby wubby. Whoa. What the fuck? Let's see. What the fuck is this?
1 a.m.
𝕊𝖏𝖆. I feel like that was a fairly productive session. Not a lot of questions. That's fair enough. Fair enough. I'll get back into this in the next couple days and show you guys some more advanced stuff once I play around and read up on some of the manuals for some of these that I'm super confused on. I thought I understood a couple of them, and apparently I don't. So certain things have changed as well. A lot of my older
1:15
files
a.m.
don't load up in this one because the modules have changed. So like updates have been made to them, and then they don't load properly. So kind of have to recreate some of that shit. Had some fun examples, but so that's it for now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am Mike Flex, 7 Studios, doing the thing. The number 7 out.